white women, they can wear like box braids, they can wear afros, they can wear dreads, and they may still look good as well. Am I right? Because if black women can do it, can't they do
That's
black
debatable.
hairstyles?
That's debatable.
How is it debatable? Like, if you guys are putting on a straight 613 blonde wig that looks exactly like their hair, why can't they do hairstyles that come from black culture?
Because it's a cultural thing. Let's be honest. What white girl out here you
Uh-huh.
seeing with some cute looking box braids?
All these women on the Pop the Balloon episodes who wear these wigs, weaves, and makeup, it's due to an underlying insecurity. How come you've never seen Arlette without a wig?
Now it's 2 a.m. on a Sunday, and I gotta go to work on a Monday, and you got me out here looking crazy.
How did you get your hair like that? It looks very nice.
Oh, thank you. I just curled it. So first I wet it down with water, and then I put a moisturizer, and then I just put gel on it.
Okay. Do you wear your hair natural all the time?
Not all the time. I just like switch it up, depending on how I'm feeling.
What do you mean by switch it up? Like, do you like wear wigs and?
Yeah, I wear wigs, yeah.
Okay.
Depending on like my outfit or like if I feel like going through the routine of like doing my natural hair. If I don't, then I just wear the wig.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my other question. Like, why do you think other women wear like a lot of wigs and weaves and stuff like that today?
I feel like it differs for each woman.
Uh-huh.
For me, it's a matter of like time. Well, sometimes I just don't have enough time to really like do the whole like hair care routine and everything with like preparing my hair. So I just put a wig on.
So this might sound kind of crazy, but do you think a lot of women today may be lazy? That's why they don't want to do their hair?
I mean, that could be part of it, but I guess maybe time management, maybe if we managed our time more, sure. Also, if you're looking for an aesthetic for like an outfit, like you want to wear this dress, but you want to wear it with like a straight or like a curly wig, it just really depends.
How often do you wear like wigs and stuff like that? Like, would you say you wear your hair natural most of the time or fake most of the time?
It's so funny because literally like last week, like 2 weeks ago, I had like a wig on, and then like for the past 2 weeks, I've had my natural hair out. So now stuff is getting real. I'm like in rehearsal. I have like a bunch of homework, and I'm like, the wig is coming back on next week.
Right.
So
Okay.
it really just depends.
Uh-huh.
I just put my hair in cornrows, and it's coming back on.
It's because of like more so convenience. So that's why you put on the
Yeah,
wigs
that's
and
why I
weaves.
put it on. But it could be different for other women. It could just be for aesthetic. Maybe there's an insecurity behind it. Maybe they're dealing with alopecia, trichotillomania, cancer, whatever it may be.
I was just having a debate with a young lady earlier today, and I was just telling her, like, I think most women put on wigs because of insecurities. And she was like, I can't say most because I don't have evidence on that. But every time I do interview a black woman or I look at different like research and stuff like that, it just shows that it's more aligned with insecurity than them just wanting to do a style. Because my thing is, if you loved your natural hair, then why would you need to put wigs and weaves on all the time?
Yeah, but it's not so simple.
Okay.
And I know it sounds bad saying that, like, it takes a lot of time and energy to care for your natural hair and to style it every day, but it really does. And it's like if you have, especially if you're in school and like, you have like 8 a.m.s till like 4 or 5 p.m. like classes throughout the day, and then like I'm an acting major, so then I have rehearsal from like 6 to 10, and then I come back around like 11, 12, and it's like I wake up the next morning, like it's so much easier to just put on a wig than to like
It
stay
is.
there, moisturize, da 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 da. Like it's just like I gotta go, I gotta be out the door. So I think for me it's for convenience, but I can't speak for other women.
Do you think wigs can be of a detriment to your natural hair though? Because there are a lot of negatives that people don't speak about. Number one, there's like chemicals in wigs. Also, I feel like you pass down a generational curse. A lot of women wear wigs today because of their mothers. They call your hair ugly, straighten your hair, when you're like 5 years old. So you really don't know how to do your natural hair. So I feel like by women wearing wigs and weaves today, you're kind of passing down a curse to younger children.
It's different for each woman. Like I think that if you care for your hair, because actually a lot of women experience like the most growth that they've ever had when they leave their hair alone and they like they put it in cornrows and they like care for it, and it's like growing because it's in a protective style. So it really depends. Like if your wig is of like good quality and you know where it's coming from, and you wash your hair regularly and you moisturize it regularly, then yeah.
There was another point I had. I forgot it.
It's okay.
But
I actually have to be going.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, of course.
You guys have a great day. Every time we're out here and we're interviewing a woman with natural hair, every single time her vibe is just so positive. She's smiling. There's no type of malice. Like, even though she said she wears like fake hair sometimes, she was wearing her natural hair and she just seemed so positive. I finally figured it out. When a black woman puts on these wigs, these weaves, these lashes, the makeup, the BBLs, all this fake stuff, she's creating a personality that is not hers. So they gain this confidence because they feel beautiful now. But meet these same black women on these pop the balloon shows that be wearing these wigs and weaves and that be roasting the dudes. Meet these women without all that on. I bet you'll meet the sweetest girl you ever met. Why? Because when they don't have that on, now they're a regular human being. They're one of everybody else. But when they put all this stuff on, all these wigs, long nails, the lashes, the makeup, the contouring of the nose to make their nose seem more sharp and more Europeanized, they become a totally different woman. And all these women on the Pop the Balloon episodes who wear these wigs, weaves, and makeup, it's due to an underlying insecurity. How come you've never seen Arlette without a wig? So how come a lot of black women today don't feel beautiful?
Because of colonialization. We've been oppressed for so long that we don't realize how beautiful we are anymore.
So that's why they wear the wigs and the weaves, because they've been colonialized and they feel like they have to be like the white woman.
I believe at one point in time that answer could have been true,
Right.
but in today's society, that's no longer true. We are able to see how beautiful we are in different hairstyles and the different ways that we dress, that like black people are not a monolith, so we can look beautiful in anything. In terms of any type of hairstyle, we rock it however we wear it.
Can't we say the same for white women? Because white women, they can wear like box braids, they can wear afros, they can wear dreads, and they may still look good as well. Am I right? Because if black women can do it, can't they do black hairstyles?
That's debatable.
How is it debatable? Like, if you guys are putting on a straight 613 blonde wig that looks exactly like their hair, why can't they do hairstyles that come from black culture?
Because it's a cultural thing. Let's be honest. What white girl out here you seeing with some cute looking box braids that's not tearing their hair out? That's not for them. That's why it's tearing their hair out.
Personally, I don't see white women with box braids on the streets.
So why you bring it up then?
Because I see on the internet every time, like maybe one of them might want to do box braids, the whole internet starts getting on them for a style. And they just like, hey man, I like the style that looks good on you guys. Why can't I do it too? Black women, that's the same with you guys. When you guys put on a blonde 613 blonde wig.
Significance behind it. Box braids are what we use as a protective hairstyle, and what we also use to sort of allow us to assimilate into a society that doesn't accept us. When we see box braids on other white women and them not appreciating the cultural significance that comes from box braids, that's when we're just like, yeah, that's really not for you.
But
or even afros. I mean, like, a lot of times when they put on afros, it's like a costume. Like, an afro for me is not a costume. But I see what you're saying though in terms of like wearing wigs, but it's like it's a specific way that we wear them. And to say like we're wearing them like white women, the hair don't even come from white women. But
just because it doesn't come from them doesn't mean you're not trying to emulate one. Because one thing, black women do not grow naturally straight blonde hair. White women grow naturally straight blonde hair. So if you
some black women with naturally blonde hair as well.
Naturally blonde hair, so there's no problem with the color blonde. So if you want to dye your hair blonde, there's no problem with that. But the problem is when you guys put on a straight wig that's also blonde, and also straight wigs too, because black women don't grow straight hair like that.
What is the message that you're advocating for?
Natural hair. Like yours right now.
Okay.
More women should wear their hair natural, but a lot of them feel insecure to wear their natural hair out, so they put on these wigs and weaves to cover up everything all the time.
I don't feel like it's a cover up anymore. I feel like it's a being able to see the beauty in the different ways that we exist. At the end of the day, black women birthed all the different races in the world. So that's why I genuinely believe we're able to look beautiful in any different type of hairstyle. Like I said, there are black women with naturally blonde hair. There are black women with naturally straight hair. I could look at my own aunt. Like, her hair is much straighter than mine. So I just feel like it's a very limiting sort of view to say that black women should only be seen with like coarser hair textures when that's not even the whole breadth of the black community.
I get that, but I can see you believe in like Jesus or God or something by your earrings. So if God wanted a woman to have straight hair, wouldn't he make her come on this planet that way? If he wanted you to have a hairstyle that looks like everybody else's, he would do that. But he doesn't, because you're unique. Nobody else on this planet grows hair like yours, except for other black women. But black women feel the need to do other hairstyles and straight hair and blonde wigs and stuff like that. And it doesn't really make sense to me when you guys have the most unique hair on the planet.
Just hearing what you're saying in terms of like the way that God naturally put us on this earth, God also naturally put us on this earth completely naked.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
So, like, I don't know. I just feel like that's also controversial because God also put us on the earth to be naked, but then sin came into the world and now here we are. Everything is a way that we express ourselves in the society that we are in today.
Even putting on a blonde wig that has nothing to do with you. I just don't understand how that expresses something that's inside of me that's not naturally there.
It's just a different way to express yourself.
Also, you said earlier that hairstyles were cultural, but don't you know black people do things from other cultures as well? Things like eating pizza, pasta, that comes from white people, Italians and stuff like that, but we still indulge in those things.
Also forcibly brought to this country and forced to assimilate into the cultures that were already here. If we could have just stayed in Africa, I'm pretty sure we would have just made that decision.
But who's forcing you today?
There's nobody forcing me to do anything.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying like everything is a sense of self-expression while also trying to live in a society that naturally doesn't accept us.
How so? You mean like in the workplace? Or because I mean today in this society, everybody accepts black women.
That's debatable.
How is it debatable? I
Not
don't.
everybody accepts black people.
Well, not every single person, but
Not everybody accepts black people, period.
yeah, not everybody, but today, like if you say one racist thing about a black person, you're getting canceled.
This is
Immediately.
true, but I feel like there's a difference between symbolism, like actually affecting change in things. I feel like the whole like cancel culture is a symbolistic sort of thing in terms of like people can get canceled on the tabloids, but they can still say what they want to say behind closed doors. Look at redlining. That's what's happening and can continue to happen because of what politicians are doing behind closed doors. It's being brought to light, but at the end of the day, everything is done in a systemic way to continue to oppress us.
Right.
In corporate America, you don't really see a whole lot of black women with their natural hairstyles.
But that's by choice. Because there's nobody
it's
forcing
by
you to do
choice
so.
For assimilation, for us to be in these spaces where we can affect change, in order for us to not be put into a hostile work environment, a lot of times black women and black people assimilate, period. And I feel like that's just a fact that we see.
But today we have
society.
certain laws that they didn't even have in the past. Like back in the day, they weren't even wearing like lace fronts and wigs like that. Like back in the 60s and 70s, they would more so wear their natural hair out. But today we have way more laws than they had back in the 60s and 70s that are in place to where black women can wear their natural hair, but yet black women make the choice to wear fake hair today.
Are you referring to the Crown Act?
That's one of them.
Yes, that's another example of legislation that's been fought against by conservative America. Like, not all corporations follow the Crown Act, and that's something else that's being brought to the courts now. Like, this struggle is very real. Like, we're continuing to fight for what we're fighting for, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody should be to be like subjected to feeling lesser than anybody else just because of the way that they want to express themselves.
But today in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, there's no excuse for a black woman to wear a wig or weave, just because the Crown Act is in place in these states. So nobody, like not even you can say, oh, I'm afraid to wear my natural hair in a job environment because I might get discriminated against. But not even you have that ability to make that statement because we have that law in place. So if that did happen to you, then you could sue that employer because he's violating the Crown Act. We have too many laws in place today for women to make all these excuses of why they can't wear their natural hair. That's what I'm trying to say.
So in terms of conversation, I believe that I'm not the type to continue, like, I feel like we have different points of views.
Okay.
I'm going to continue to feel the way that I feel in terms of self-expression. Today I decided to express myself wearing my natural hair.
Okay.
Another day I might decide to express myself by wearing box braids. Another day I might decide to express myself by wearing a curly wig. I believe that that's my freedom.
It is.
And it's beautifully black because I'm black. I'm wearing it. It's not wearing me. So I don't know. I just feel like I have a difference of opinion with you. And in terms of having a productive conversation, I feel like I've learned some things from your point of view. I hope that you've learned some things from my point of view. But I just believe being beautifully black is being confident in the way that I express myself and standing on what I believe makes
business.
me me.
Right. Okay. I understand that, but wigs and weaves have too many negatives to keep wearing them. They have too many chemicals. For now.
Not wigs,
Yeah, wigs have chemicals.
but the chemicals aren't getting in your hair.
Yeah, but they are. They dry out your hair. They cause insecurities. Hold on. And also, they pass down a curse to your children because if they see you wearing wigs and weaves, they're going to do it too. And a lot of women today wear wigs and weaves because of insecurity. Now, you said earlier that wigs are protective. How are they protective?
Because under the wig is cornrows. The longer that you leave your hair alone in a protective hairstyle, such as cornrows, you're actually allowing your hair to grow longer. That's what is a protective hairstyle.
So, I understand your point. It's half right and half wrong because
This is
wigs.
from somebody with experience.
Yeah, I understand. But wigs are not protective at all. The thing that is protective. Hold on. 1 second. The thing that's protective is the cornrows under. The wig has no need at all. Do you understand that? So the wig is just there to cover up the cornrows because you don't want people to see them. Right, so it's not protective then.
But I feel like you're also ignoring that there are also Afro textured wigs as well. Like, would you be against a black woman wearing an Afro textured wig for the appearance of longer Afro textured hair?
Well, I'm less against that than like.
But it's still a wig though.
It is a wig. I'm less against it because at least you're still trying to, rock a style that looks like black people's hair. But the main thing is the styles or the wigs that look straight like white people's hair. Like,
I feel like you have a very monolithic view
I heard
of
that.
the black community, and I feel like there can be some self-reflection in that
how so?
because not every black person looks the same. Like, and that's just a fact.
That's true, but what does that have to do with putting a straight hair wig on?
The fact that not every black person looks the same, not every black person decides to express themselves in the same way.
That's true, but I mean, you don't need a wig to express yourself. Like, you don't need a straight hair wig to express
You
anything.
don't need anything, in all honesty. I mean, like you wanted to bring up earlier, the state that we were put on the earth by God was our complete naked body selves. So at the beginning, we didn't even need clothing. However, clothing is another way that we express ourselves. If at the end of the day, like, where'd you get your clothing from? A white manufacturer that sourced their goods from probably a factory in China where they're underpaying those workers, and that just further reifies a system of capitalism and colonialization, and just another system that we kind of just have assimilated under. So it's like, if we really want to get down to the nitty gritty of actually trying to do things that don't further oppress our people, it's a complete wreckage of the system, in all honesty.
I mean,
but like, if we're talking about where we are right now in today's society, still living in this society, still trying to assimilate, find ourselves, and have that sense of self-determination, I believe that it's harmful more so rather than helpful to have a very narrow way of defining what blackness is.
That's true. I understand your point, but clothes can't really be associated with hair. That you can't align those two, because clothes is something that we have to wear, or we will go to jail if you walk out here naked.
I only
So,
bring that up.
so I know why you brought it up, but a wig is something that nobody's forcing you to wear. Clothes, I'm being forced to put clothes on. If I could, yeah, I will walk out here just naked because that's how God wanted me to be. It lets your skin breathe and everything, but we cannot do that today. So
Clothes still not another way that you can express yourself?
clothes is not something that I need to express myself. Like people feel that way, that they need to put some type of clothes on to express themselves. But this piece on self-expression has really been bothering me, because when these women say it in the videos, it really sounds very good. It makes sense when you hear from somebody, yeah, I put on a wig to express myself, or I wear Jordans to express myself. The clothes I wear express me. But to me, something about it doesn't make sense. So what I did is went to Google and looked up the word express. Express means to convey a thought or feeling in words by gestures or conduct. By gestures or conduct. The way you move, the way you speak, the way you act. That is to express. What is the self? Me. I'm the self. So put it together. Self-expression is a person who conveys a thought or feeling in words by gestures or conduct. It's not what you put on. Wigs, weaves, the clothes you wear, the things you put on your body is an image that you want other people to see of you. It's not you expressing yourself. Think about it. If I put on a pair of Jordans and a Mexican guy puts on a pair of Jordans, what does that say about us? He has a totally different ethnicity. He speaks a totally different language. He comes from a totally different background. But since we're wearing a piece of clothing, we're expressing ourselves, made by Nike, made by Jordans, made by Adidas. These brands don't express who we are, just like wigs and weaves do not express who we are. So this piece on self-expression, yeah, I put a wig on to express myself. That's not true. That's just something that they're saying that sounds good, but when you actually use your brain to think about it, it makes zero sense. Dig this real quick. Peep game. Peep game real quick. Okay? Peep game. A wig is a way you self-express, right? But then you go and put on a blonde straight wig that looks just like white women's hair, that looks like European hair. So how come you're trying to express yourself in a manner that looks like Europeans, the same people that colonized you? Like, really use your brain and think about that. So this piece on self-expression does not make any sense.